Over the fall?
We'll make it look centered.
That's good.
Well, man, Todd's gonna be off center, but we always know that anyway.
That's proper color, that'd be good. I was listening to the music.
HDMI 1 PC.
I couldn't understand what that said now. She said that.
That's like, you know, obviously we travel a lot, so the little GPS guy lady, the way she says some of those things, I'm just like, that is not right. Like bypass, she'll say bypass, honey.
I know.
Bypass.
Well, that's the thing about it. Ellie loves to get in there on my GPS and talk to Siri on the thing. You know, on my phone. And she's just trying to figure out something that she can get her to stumble up.
That's what Debbie uses at when we travel or anything. Where's a good restaurant, you know? And then 15 minutes later, she says, cut that damn thing off. You know?
Because it's telling you about this one and this one.
So far, so good.
They gave me, I think there's,
When you had that bout, did you sleep a lot? I think it was Sunday, a week ago Sunday. When Debbie didn't do the testing and all, but she thought she had an allergy or something going on. And then Buddy came in, when I come home from church, I just told her, I said, you know, I don't know if it was the preacher got on to me too bad or what today, but I said, I really got a headache. And so she said, well, let's, you know, I've got some of these tests, let's try. Well, really light pink, and mine just turned red.
oh, wow.
And I laid down Sunday about 2:30 or 3 o'clock, somewhere in there. I woke up Monday morning at 9 o'clock.
I don't know.
And
I tried to come Saturday night.
I was
Good.
yeah, that's really good.
Do you have
Never
favorite?
mind, I got it.
Yes, I have low grade fever.
I did too. Mine got one, and they told me because of taking my drugs that to keep me from rejecting liver, that they couldn't give me that new drug that they come out with. That's, you know, they give just about everybody that's older. Yeah, but mess up my immune.
Enzymes and stuff.
Well, it mess up that it affects the my drugs that keep me from rejecting it. Then you start rejecting your liver and the COVID. So.
Well, that's what they gave me that. When, you know, the pharmacy down in Eagles Fields. Well, Dr. DeWitt's office gave me the stuff. The pharmacist wrote Sharpie on the outside of the little pad. Call us before we take it. And she said, make sure you read this.
Okay.
Well, it all works against it.
Yeah.
So I called the doctor back. Her comment was, it's
Well, Emory just said that. Emory said, you can take Tylenol, that's the only thing you can take. They tell me, Tylenol, I can take it, I can take it, like, 500 milligrams every 6 hours or something like that. And said, don't take no more than that. You can take something for decongestion, or, the decongestion. I said, so what if it gets bad? They said, call them and tell them to take you to the emergency room, and when you get to the emergency room, tell them to call us.
Take you to Emory or wherever, Piedmont, wherever you want.
They said go to the nearest one and then tell them here. Which I got a thing that says this is where you get Tesla and all.
It's, you remember George. I was up at the hospital when he was, not the last time he was at, that's the last time the hospitalologist comes in. I mean, this guy walks in there, and you never heard George say crossword. This guy walks in there and says, Mr. Hall, has anyone ever told you? And George lit up. He said that maybe they took you to transplant.
They just left a spare in there, huh? Ooh. Well, I'm going to do lab work at 7 o'clock in the morning but I'll be back here by 9. If I'm not here by 9, it's called. But I get to Piedmont. If I get there at 7 o'clock, I'm usually the first one.
Do you have to go to the hospital for your lab work?
No, I go to that little off-site clinic. I got it set up for Emory. They send it to Emory. And I got it set up where Piedmont does the blood thing, and then they automatically send it.
I heard today that Piedmont is selling off the first carriage, the one on 29.
Oh, yeah.
They're doing away with
Must not be profitable.
whatever they do out there is going to make money.
I would think it would, but.
Either that or they're not going to do it long.
How you doing?
Oh, you're talking to me?
Well, I'm talking to you too.
Okay.
How you doing?
You have to do that till all over anyway.
I think we made you earn your pay.
Totally, yeah.
I'd soon get back to a little more routine. Come here 2 nights a month.
Congratulations.
Good, how are you?
That's the way it used to be. I don't know. Then we got these other commissioners in here. We're talking about used to be nights and take over stuff. Then we got all these other commissioners in here.
If you'll each be satisfied with your 15 minutes, it's fine.
Started to call, but don't be concerned about leaving us. Come on if you feel comfortable.
Most of the carriers fall in.
Probably is, whatever you're
If my mama was living, that'd be the first thing she'd ask me.
No, that's not it. But I did see somebody fix the green card.
Yeah.
You know, green card.
Well, I did look at it. We said that, you had to have, what, 2 or 3 days ago,
I went to the dermatologist and he sprayed that, but I didn't realize that this thing done jumping up there. We have done, bunch of spots.
he does. I aspire to get that.
I'm susceptible to skin cancer because of the anti-rejection drugs. Help
me work calves this morning.
So, he goes, they think it might be just our spraying right. I don't know. Imagine
My wife says I need to get these on my head, but Lord, I hate
But I have learned, though, the best thing is sometimes it's much better just to go on and get it done.
But they don't ever stop. They want to do them again in 6 months or a year.
Yeah. Well, that's the way it is when I go see them. I mean, it's just different.
He's one of these.
And you can see now my skin is so, and my blood's the thing in there. It is, I just
He spoke down.
bruised up.
Yeah.
But I'm proud to be here. Proud to be alive. Somebody asked me the other day about being a commissioner. Didn't that get me awful sometime? I said, I'm just glad I can attend the meeting. Stir it apart.
Yeah,
I guess that applies. You're still on death row too, but.
That's right.
You'd rather be leaving heaven.
But you know, that's sort of like if you had radiation on your liver and they killed tumor, but it also killed part of your liver when they did that.
Yeah.
And you know, you only got a certain amount of time left. That's sort of like the same thing.
Got a call from the governor.
That's right.
if I want her to know I said that, I'll tell her myself.
Did you know you need a liver transplant when they started that radiation?
Yeah. I knew it. I mean, that's the only reason they did it, to get rid of it so they could give me a transplant.
Okay, for any thought of we could kill this and not have
Oh,
it.
yeah. They told me that this is the thing, the whole idea was I started out with the transplant, then when the tumor came, I said, does this change things? And they said, not if we kill it before. If it's got to be 2 millimeters, but it can't be more than 2.5. And you know what a millimeter is?
Yeah.
So this is the way is that you get tested every 3 months, so you hope that it gets to 2 millimeters and you find it, but it ain't gonna pass 2.5. Mine was slow growing,
So there was time to get it spread out.
and then as soon as it got to 2 millimeters, they call it. So they cube up this wrist right here, from my wrist all the way to the liver. $40,000 worth of radiation.
Wow. Now, did that do the transplant with?
That put me to the top. And that's why, but I had to wait 6 months, even at the top, I still had to wait 6 months to make sure that there was no more cancer. Because they ain't gonna put a liver in anybody that might have cancer.
So the malignancy could attach to the liver.
Yeah.
Okay.
If it's anywhere in the vicinity,
Funnel through on a regular basis.
Not to be too.
so I had MRIs, and I had a meeting.
Yeah.
Mr. Rack, every time I look at the
3,500. Well,
Wow.
I'm a lucky man. I do.
When you say capital, you mean insurance?
Well, yeah, the Gap United Caterpillars, that really sell.
I was wondering.
They really sell the
That makes sense.
Well, one of the best things about working for.
Yeah.
I like it.
Ready? What time you got your boots?
I think 3 weeks and I can tell me what my next step is.
The heifers.
Then you going into wrestling. Are you going into wrestling?
No, I think I'm going into referee. Is anybody's idea coming?
Frank, I'm coming, but I also know that outside league on.
Somebody, yeah, he said they was in town. Was that really?
Christopher, will you go look and see if anybody's outside and when you get started, if he is? I mean, I think somebody might need to be here. What was y'all doing, touchdown club stuff Saturday? Come up there, cut the grass, and I seen y'all gathered at the fire hall.
Oh, they had a scrimmage over in South Carolina, where the varsity scrimmage, the hunter team.
How'd that go?
It went really good. They did real well. We played two of the highest classification teams in South Carolina. We did great on them. I mean, one of them. Of course, they played everybody, but we scored 27 to 15 on one half. So they can only play. South Carolina played one half. So Madison County, our boys played one half against one team. Then had to play the second half against another team. So we were really at a disadvantage when we played the better team. We played the better team, and we tied them 15 to 15. Well, they came back and tied us.
Well, I've been watching practice over there because my son's practicing, and I don't know who that number 9 is. That boy's a great athlete. So.
Yeah, there's a couple of them.
Some of them running their heart out. He's just galloped. I mean, this boy's a beast.
Yeah, I think so. But several of them that look really good.
Want to move forward here?
I'm ready.
First idea goes. We just want to move forward anyway.
We'll move forward. I did talk to Osh today, and he was coming back from a meeting in Atlanta. I knew he wouldn't make it.
All right. That's fine. All right. I'd like to welcome everybody to Madison County Board of Commissioners special call meeting. Tonight's agenda for August 15th, 2022. Is there any statements or remarks from citizens on tonight's agenda? All right. Hearing none. Consider awarding a sealed bid for the Industrial Development and Business Authority Community Development Block Grant. This is a CDBG grant everybody's familiar with. Before we go any further with that, I know there's been some email correspondence back and forth between near record, the county attorney, Frank Gann, and the executive director regarding this. And in your package, you have a copy from July 26th and a copy from July 29th. I think probably there's some other developing emails that may correspond. So first, I would like to ask County Attorney Mr. Mike Pruitt to bring us up to speed as far as the last where we stand on this bid process.
Well, I haven't had conversations with anyone since I sent my opinion to y'all on Friday. So, well, the one thing I know is that Mr. Phillips did send an email to Ranger asking them to respond, put in writing that explanation, and but I was just about to look. I don't think I have not received any indication that he's hasn't received anything from Ranger on that.
I know on one of the conversations earlier in the week, I think y'all did verify, one of the questions was if they had done a prior project and y'all determined that it was, but it was in another company's name that they acquired. I'm just trying to get clarity.
Yeah, that was right. That's okay. Yeah, the background for that was that John said. Let me make sure I get it right. I'll read it here. That that John spoke with the principal at Ranger, who said that reference project on their bid submittal was completed by AC Tyler Corporation, which was owned by Ryan Smith at that time. Ranger purchased AC Tyler, and Ryan Smith, who was its principal, now works for Ranger. So, I guess the only thing I could add that I didn't put was I did ask John if industry standard would justify saying that qualifies as Ranger's job, and he said, yeah, it could. So, I mean, again, my opinion is I think it's defensible either way the board wants to look at it.
All right.
And they were aware of that, but they
told John, actually I asked John if he could get it by Friday,
Okay.
but I don't think he actually, he saw my email and sent it to, find it again. I don't think he found my email and sent it to Turner until, yeah, he sent it Friday evening at 9:54, and he said the sooner we can get it, the better.
I was texting Frank to ask him, was him or somebody coming. With that being said, I know there was a lot of controversy around, you know, whether to fulfill the bid with Ranger or move to the next lowest bid, which was Dell Construction. And I don't know if I know at the last board meeting, we had asked for some explanations, from how the information got from one point to another, and pointing out the discrepancies in the contract. And I understand with that being said, it was not protocol neither. So I guess.
But I'm confused. No, I think Mr. Pruitt, though, covered most of what happened.
Yes, I know we had asked for clarification from both.
Yeah, and that's really what I was relying upon anyway.
All right, so with that being said, Mr. Pruitt, is there a reason that the board would not go to Ranger Construction for the amount of $370,828?
Again, I just gotta go back to what I put in the opinion. The law is that, you know, you have discretion, of course, not going to upset your decision on whether you find a bidder to be responsive or not, or responsible or not, in the absence of an abuse of discretion. John has said, which would be the case, that Ranger, you certainly could find them responsive and responsible and say you didn't explain this in your bid submittal, and that job was in 2008, different company that you since acquired. We don't think that, again, the definition of responsible is demonstrate that you could adequately perform the job in compliance with the contract documents. If it's your discretion, you don't think that shows that, I think that's defensible too.
All right. If everybody is anybody have any questions? Hearing none, I'll ask for a motion to approve the bid award for Ranger Environmental Services, LLC, for the amount of $370,828.20. Do I have a motion, gentlemen?
Just one thing for clarification, this is a labor and equipment on the contract. Materials are being provided by the DA.
That is what I'm reading in this the CDBG water project is labor and equipment only, pretty much all the way down the bid, except for the silt fence and grassing and the removal of rock and traffic control. Everything else shows labor and equipment only.
Yeah, and I didn't have the specs to go with the contract, so I haven't looked at that, but you're looking to bid tabulation.
That's correct.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Chairman, I'll update make for second none with one you provided to declare Ranger non-responsible bidder and award the construction contract to Dell Construction in the amount of $375,925.
And the reason for that, I'm just curious, the reason for that would be?
Is there a second? Second.
Okay, second by, all right, so now, any discussion?
Yeah, we can.
Yeah, any discussion, gentlemen?
My recommendation is based on the Ranger's experience in the purchase of another company. There were no references that could be verified, the date and the age of those references. That, you know, as mentioned, possibly 2008. That, you know, just out of an abundance of caution to the taxpayers of Madison County, who will be the beneficiary of the completed project. I hope we do better in the future on some of that, but today I believe this is the right.
Mike, is there a legal is there a legal stance on this, for potential retaliation, from Ranger Environmental Services due to the nature of the documents?
Well, anytime in these situations, you're in one that, sure, either one could possibly say the decision was wrong, but two things there. One, they've got to overcome the abuse of discretion standard. Secondly, in the state of Georgia, a disappointed bidder who proves his case is only entitled as damages the cost of his bid preparation, which means there really aren't that many bid lawsuits in Georgia.
You know, with that being said, I'll be honest with you, gentlemen. I don't like the first one, and I don't like the second. And I know that there's a substantial amount of money on the table to go to the third bid. For one, this is my personal opinion. The Ranger Environmental failed to put some documents together in the bid package, which could possibly disqualify them. But Mike Chris said it may not, or council said it may not. The second award, in my personal opinion, to Dell Construction, by the way the knowledge was found out, to me is highly unethical. I think it was a failed part on our end, and therefore, with that being said, I would personally recommend that neither one of these two be given, because they're both one's at fault and the other was at fault for not filling out the qualifying papers. How about that? That's just a personal opinion during discussion.
If you can claim that unethical, I mean, that's using that language. I don't know if
It is 100%
I don't know if
unethical.
there's any proof of that.
It is 100% unethical to receive any bid information prior to the bid award, and to receive an email from the company that's bidding disqualifying the bidder prior to the award.
Do we know that?
Which is 100% in an email. Yes, sir.
Do we know that occurs?
Mr. Chairman, I have to say that I'm concerned with some of the language. I think we have to be
Unethical?
careful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, I don't think anything was done nefarious, so I think it was done accidentally. So unethical is a strong word that I would probably just avoid at this point. There's a motion and a second, so I call the question, please.
It's still up to discussion. Gentlemen?
My opinion of this is I worked for various companies for 40 plus years of my professional career. And then I decided to go in business for myself. In a situation like this, it has been my, when we began to provide bids and on contracts of substantial size, that while I did not own the company, I was to the company, both to the design team and to the contractor or construction manager that we worked for. So I don't personally take exception that Ranger acquired another company and brought on the staff of that company as part of the package, you know. Now, is this, I would assume, and from what I've read, that the guy's name for that owns the other company, that he is going to be the project manager for our Morse Road, Myers Road.
Yes, sir.
Myers Road project. Ryan Smith. If I don't want to read anything into this, but that's what I'm seeing. Here again, I would agree with Derek that nothing nefarious took place in, but whether it was intentional or unintentional, at the end of the day, the dispersion of that information shouldn't have took place. I mean, that's it in a nutshell. If we're going to start splitting hairs here, then first two are out and the third one comes in.
Well, I think that we need to change the process. I think that that's one of the problems.
They certainly need to make it clear.
Yeah.
I think all of us are disappointed in the way that occurred. And I think certainly I have learned that's something to make sure best we can doesn't occur again.
Right.
When I look at this, and assuming if we decided that we were concerned enough what went on with Dale and Ranger, then my next best option is $42,000 higher. Am I willing to, is it enough to pull out of the taxpayers $42,000 or $70,000 to go to the next bids? So that's sort of, as disappointed as I am I $42,000 I say probably not.
I would speak to that also, because I think, yeah, and that was just a personal opinion of going to the third one. That's not something, I do agree with you on the 42,000. I do think that would be harmful to taxpayers, but if I'm trying to look at the lesser of the two evils of saying which one done the wrong and the most wrong, I would tell you that I would have to, I personally, if I was a voting member, I would have to award it to Ranger. Because the baggage it's the way the contracts came to be. I think is more one-sided than the other if I had to defend it in a court of law. I think one is more defendable than the other.
And I personally would not have a problem with Ranger if that's the way the motion went. One concern that I have is an absence of reference, or 2008 was a long time ago. So is there a reason that it hadn't been done in Georgia instance? That's 14 years ago, and even then that's sort of a second hand, though it would be potentially project manager reference. So if you're talking about $5,000 difference between them and Ranger, is that enough of a concern to make that $5,000? That's a much closer call to me.
Any other discussion?
I'm bothered by the whole thing too. I mean, like I said, why did Dale Construction ask to see the original bids to begin with? Like, and if they do business regularly, then they know you don't do that, especially if it's not appropriate. If you don't want to say unethical, it's not appropriate. So that's what bothers me. And then the fact that they got the information before there was a contract also bothers me.
Normally what they would hear is the amounts. Of course, the bid opening's public, so they all know what each other bid. It's discretionary, and certainly by a long shot that all other documents stay non-public until the contract is finally awarded. And the Open Records Act says that it doesn't mandate that you do it, but the exception is there because that's best practice.
The way the state law the way that I go by sealed bids is we, like you said, we do a bid opening. The bid tabulation that you see is what everybody gets to hear, and then we keep the sealed bid packets, we award the bid, and then those packets are available to the public so that they can look through all the tabulations. And if you want to, I believe it's called protest, something of an award, if you find like errors in the award, then something, a letter to...
Well, we don't have a bid protest procedure in our purchasing policy, and probably most smaller governments don't. A few of the big ones do, and you can debate the pros and cons of having it.
Yeah, and I don't feel comfortable, I don't feel perfect about what any decision we have to make here. But we've got to make one based on the information we got in the bid process that we went through. Now, I think we need to revamp this whole bid process, and, we're talking about, what is the RDF type thing, or whatever, what we, we need to,
all of that is available under our policy. It's just the route that was chosen.
I know, and I think though, that we need to have a process that we follow on things like this, and say, this is what the expectations are, and understand it. And I have to defer to some of my engineering brethren here that are talking about that, but clearly, I'm not comfortable that what's happened here, but I'm looking at what, we gotta make a decision. And I sort of like the option of going with Dale, I guess better than I do the, one with Ranger, based on, I think, some of the concerns about, as we say, about who's done what lately and who did.
Well, the RFP process we use all the time. We use it for roads, we use it, above X dollar, and this is the very first time that I know of in my history of paying attention that we've ever had an RFP problem. And the RFP problem was, originated from not.
Well, we didn't do it, this one wasn't done as an RFP.
It wasn't done as an RFP.
Yeah, it was done as a hard bid.
That's right.
But we still have done this multiple times, and this is the first one. You even said, yourself that this is the first time this has ever been. At this point in time, I mean, and what Mr. Kirk has said, Commissioner Kirk said, he feels more comfortable with Dale. I just don't, my question is do I'm more comfortable than,
Well,
because I know Mr. Ginn
we
has
can debate this
done a lot of
all
work.
night. I think we ought to, let's vote and see how it goes. I'm one vote.
Well, I don't think we're quite there yet. Mr. Ginn stated there was, Dale Construction had done a lot of work in the county. I don't know that I've ever seen an award. Dale Construction?
I am.
Have y'all won an award from Madison County government before?
Yes.
Okay. Not sub, but direct award?
Directly, yes.
Okay.
We done the, I heard the jail and details done. I heard on highway to the new water tank.
Okay.
We've done a lot of that. We've done on McCann Morris Road, which it was through a developer. He paid for it, it's for the county, but the developer paid for it. We've done that last year, I think it was. All together, we've done about 80,000 feet of pressurized pipe. We worked as a sub for Griffin Brothers on the Highway 72 project, on the Elberton connection. We've done about 40,000 feet on that job, so.
All right. I didn't know, he had made a reference that y'all done a lot of work in Madison County, and I thought of not necessarily as an award bid directly to
We've
Dale.
awarded several projects here.
Thank you, because nobody was able to give me that answer. I appreciate it.
Yes.
Mike, you potentially have to defend this, one way or the other.
I can defend it either way.
This is, we should not have a third-party water department. I will go on record saying that. This is ridiculous.
It's time to call the question. Let's move on.
Let's either vote.
All right.
Let's
No
vote.
other discussion? Dennis?
No.
Yes,
This is,
The vote to approve.
for, to approve Dale.
To approve Dale
Dale.
Construction.
No.
yes.
Dale Construction wins the award. I'm a little disappointed that nobody from the IDA is here, for the record. Moving on. Center signed a contract with Edmonds. This was within the chairman's buying power. I think everybody was made aware of the new software that to be implemented in December, which we got shortened by a full year. We went into panic mode. Ms. Talbert's here to explain the process to verify with Edmonds and Southern as to which one would be the best company for that suited Madison County's needs the best. Ms. Talbert, would you like to explain any of that for us?
Just in a nutshell, because I know we've been discussing this for a few days by email, but just to let you know that when we initially got the quotes and everything from Edmonds, they came back at $93,000, and that gave us full conversion of our information that we have right now in SSUI, and they were ready to put a team on us immediately so that we could get everything done to hit our December 31st goal. They came back when Chairman Higdon reached out and said, hey, for this, could you go ahead and add this code enforcement and building permit module in the price? So the price went up by $6,000, But that was because of the version. It's taking the information and getting and implementing that module. But our annual fee actually went down by $400. So we got more for less, basically. It is good, that price is good for the first, so we will not have to pay, once we get the first $99,000 paid, then the $44,000, which is our annual maintenance, doesn't go into payments until 2024. So this buys us through the end of this year and all of next year before we go into year 2, and it's for the first year. Christina and I have been talking, I know, Commissioner Oster, we were talking about SPOS funds or different sources needed to cover it. Christina and I have actually found that there's a provision in the ARPA funds, the American Rescue Plan, that allows us to use funds to pay for the software for the first year in the implementation and conversion, because it limits contact. One of the things it does for our county employees is there's an employee self-portal that allows them, instead of filling out a handwritten timesheet to submit to their supervisors, for the supervisors to go through all that, they will be able to fill it out online, which reduces contact. They will also be able to submit that to their supervisor, the supervisor make sure all leave time has been approved, make sure all their hours are approved, and then once that's done, it's uploaded directly into the payroll for one final approval before checks go out. It reduces some human error. It reduces how many pieces of paper we have floating around, and it also allows so that when we've got people that are in different departments and different buildings and on different shifts, like EMS and our sheriff's office, it allows them to get everything in without having to physically come in and hand in the paper. It also is a web-based system. There is a link and there's an app. So our supervisors can have an app to fill in and request for purchase orders, no matter time, day or night, and then it's sitting for Kelly and I to review and approve from there. So it is a 24-hour system that limits contact, just better efficiency from department to department.
Missy did a really good job too. She reached out and had them come in, and we set the screens up. They were able to walk us through the program and how different screens that different people would use and how they all linked together. And they've been really great and really responsive with emails. They're great when they come. They stayed, what, two and a half hours that day?
2.5 hours that day.
And they were great with questions. And I think that the system will be a huge upgrade for the county.
There was 8 was in on this.
Payroll, code enforcement.
A lot of people was in attendance with this because this program offers multiple avenues besides just finance, what SSUI did. We actually came into it, code enforcement, even potential sheriff's office to get.
And rec department.
And rec department. Even the fines and sign-up fees, figures can be done through this system.
It allows us to grow. So once we get everything situated with what we're doing administratively and get going on the system, then a couple of years down the road, if we want to, we can add in extra modules.
It seems like a great job on doing this, but we did compare it to the system that we had or
Yes.
to other folks.
Yes, well, the
Right.
system that we have is going.
It's gone totally
it's
away.
Gone December 31st.
But we did compare it to some others.
We did. I reached out to Tyler Munis and basically said they couldn't meet our deadline.
Okay.
And they said that it wasn't, there was no point in quoting something that they couldn't deliver. The other software company we reached out to and came and did a similar presentation was very comparable software, just didn't allow for so much involvement.
Okay.
Like we couldn't add on, there's no potential for
Had
growth.
limiting factor.
It's very limiting. They came back at 172,000.
Okay.
So there was
Gotcha.
a significant difference.
All right.
So, but yes, we did make sure we tried to reach out to 3 major companies and get.
I thought we needed to talk about that, especially for the public to know.
Correct,
Yeah.
correct.
Thank you. All right, sorry, gentlemen. All right. Hearing none, we just.
Thank you and all the folks that were involved in investigating this, very thorough.
Yeah.
I
Very good.
feel like it was a very inclusive, like we made sure we included Christine and Lacey both from the clerk's office We included Tracy from Human Resources, we included Deborah from Payroll, Kelly from Purchasing, Christopher sat in to see the code enforcement module. I mean, we tried to be as inclusive as we could so that one person making a decision. We wanted to have the buy-in, but we also wanted people to see what was coming.
And Thomas, he's been with it
Yes,
every
Thomas
step
was
of the
with
way.
us as well with IT.
Yeah, and not to mention the $15,000 to $20,000 a year server savings that we'll no longer have to be paying.
Yeah,
because
we
it
were
frees up
paying
our
almost
servers.
$20,000 every year for new servers and upgrading our servers. So now we put that directly into it. And I'll tell you one of the other things about this company that I like compared and talking about to other companies is they are going to come in and hands-on train for using it. They, of course, have the virtual training and the modules that you can look through and watch videos, but they're going to come in and see what our systems are and then develop the training for each person, each user businesses are.
That's right.
And that was a huge selling point as
Yeah.
well.
I think that'll be excellent. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you for you and everybody else, honestly, for doing such a good job. I'm sentiment Terry on that one.
With that, Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to accept the Edmonds GovTech as presented by Ms. Talbert on total 974.
Second motion.
I have a motion by Commissioner Dostrick, second by Commissioner Chandler. Any other hearing none?
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Thank you, gentlemen. That was a good move. Statements and remarks from citizens on any matter.
Yeah, I got one. I
All
want
right.
to go back to this IDA stuff. I think the public wants to know who was it one of y'all? Was it our engineer of record? Was it somebody at the IDA? I find it funny that nobody from the IDA was here today. Does the public not deserve to know? You can call it whatever you want. It was unethical. I've spent many years doing sealed bids, and it's unethical, whatever happened and who it was. And I'd like to know if whoever it was reprimanded.
That person does not work for the Board of Commissioners or anything to do with the Board of Commissioners. I will tell you that. Nobody on this board put any information out to anybody, if that helps you answer that question. So nobody's here to answer any further questions on that, but I know we cannot, just because I know we didn't get out that information. We were dealing with a problem. I do have a statement, and John, Mr. Ramsey, I'm glad you're here. I read your article in the newspaper last week, and I'm going to tell you, sir, I was very disappointed in you. I will tell you that I was very disappointed in our friendship, and I'm going on record to say the Madison Journal, who I truly believe does a fabulous job for this county, but the approach that you read between the lines, and you had an agenda in that with the steering committee and who was appointed, and you made a mention of 5 people that was turned down from that. Now, had those 5 people submitted their names, sir, they would have been considered, not from you, not from anybody else. We don't go out and submit other people's names to a board. Had those 5 people submitted, that we would have looked at that. But, sir, I would ask you, if you're going to point fingers, please make sure the information is correct. I like you. We are friends. We're going to be friends after this meeting. But I did not appreciate that article in the paper. I know other commissioners have contacted me and said, wow. And, sir, that was wrong. I will tell you that there is no board, and I've heard this in the discussion. It doesn't matter if you're Hispanic, if you're Vietnamese, if you're African American, if you're white, Caucasian, purple, or green, sir. That had nothing to do with any votes. If anybody wanted to be on that, we announced it for months prior to. If you want to be part of something, please let us know. None of the people that you were in reference to offered and said, hey, put me on that. None of them. So, as a friend, please don't do that again.
Sir, I can make a correction about that.
Correct.
Because Mr. Adams asked me, were there people who would be willing to submit their names?
Mm-hmm.
And we went out and asked people if they would be willing to submit their names. Now, they submitted them through me, but they volunteered to be part of the steering committee.
Okay, well, next time, make sure they contact us directly,
All right.
please.
I'm gonna take exception to that, Dave. You sent the email to me inquiring about that, and I believe my response was I would forward your email to the board. And I included everyone sitting at this table in that email, but it was well after the fact that the steering had been formed, and, but there'll never be a situation where I don't share information with everybody sitting at this table.
I just want to make it real clear that this board is very diverse, and it's a very diverse thought process, and to alienate any particular race is utterly an embarrassment to them that done it. I'm just completely appalled at the article, to think that was given out in context. That's all I'm going to say, because I have some very good friends that read it and said, man, they don't know you very well, do they, Todd? And I said, no, sir, I thought we were friends, but obviously we wasn't. So, with that being said, I'll ask for a motion to adjourn.
So move.
Thank you, gentlemen. On to the next one.
Also, I want to tell you something.
Yeah, I'll come.
What I did with Dennis was exactly opposite what you said. Because
I just read it that way. Read it.
No, but what I and Dennis discussed was, he said, if you've got people who are interested, refer them to me, and I'll bring them up with the board.
And I forwarded your email you sent to me to the balance of the board.
But it was already after the board was established.
Well, you added people after the board was established.
But as sure as I would, we've tried it. So if I'd added a bunch of Vietnamese people, for instance, everybody would have said they're all chicken farmers. They said, okay, you're steering it towards farmers. That was what we were trying not to do, steer it towards anybody.
That's not an excuse.
Well,
The thing that you didn't do was when people offered
the next time, tell them to come to the table to begin with. Don't wait till.
Paul consulted that she didn't want any more people that her.
Oh, I know, that's already low down. I mean, we're halfway through.
But I think Mr. May, wherever he is,
He's right out there.
we did bring somebody on the board.
But I'll tell you, we are friends, and I respect you. I just did not like that.
Well, I'm still friends with you. I still think you guys did something wrong there.
Yeah, I don't believe so.
I'm telling you, there's more letters coming.
Yeah, that's fine. Yeah. Make sure they're back.
Go to volleyball practice.